On the outside, the Swift sports a sleek and modern design. Suzuki have introduced a new Horizon design line that wraps around the vehicle, creating a sense of motion. Rounded shoulder lines give it a sporty edge, while the iconic Suzuki badge proudly sits at the front of the bonnet. Lower headlight positions and L-shaped daytime running lights not only enhance visibility, but also add a touch of sophistication. And check out those clear rear tailgate lights.
This is your Gippsland Daily with Daniel Brewer for the 14th of July. Applications are now open for Gippsland Water's annual summer internship program. Acting Managing Director Nick Moss says the program offers undergraduate students the opportunity to apply theory from their studies into their chosen field.
The program has been running for over 25 years and gives undergraduate students a taste of what it's like to work in the water industry. Interns get to work in their chosen field, from engineering to environmental science, business and commerce, and information technology.
Federal member for Gippsland, Darren Chester, and a pair of parliamentary colleagues have met with the incoming Victorian RSL State President. Mr Chester, who is also Shadow Minister for Veteran Affairs, says he looks forward to continuing to work closely with the RSL.
It's important that when they transition to become veterans in our community, they are properly supported, but also we recognise those skills and promote the positive aspects of military service. So it was good to meet with the RSL incoming president and see how we can work together to make sure veterans across Gippsland are properly supported as they make their transition into civilian life.
Police are investigating a three-car collision at the Colbanes and Gibsons Road intersection in Sale on the 9th of July, where a Kia Carnival flipped and two passengers were airlifted in a serious condition. The driver of the other vehicle suffered minor injuries, while the Carnival driver was also hospitalised and will be interviewed. Witnesses or anyone with dashcam or CCTV footage is urged to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. Latrobe Valley Enterprises have announced that the Morwell Container Deposit Scheme depot is now back up and operational. Emma Clark reports.
Following the closure of the facility due to vandalism, the centre reopened on Friday. The facility, who employs individuals living with disabilities, were excited to make the announcement and are looking forward to seeing existing and new customers, also extending a huge thank you to those who have shown support and kindness during the tough time. Trading hours are Monday to Friday 8 till 5, Saturday 9 till 4, and Sunday 10 till 3:30. Emma Clark, Ace Radio.
A new initiative from the TAC is calling on Gippslanders to share personal stories of road trauma to help save lives. The Hardest Share invites families and survivors to speak about losing loved ones or living with a life-changing injury. Acting TAC CEO Jackie Sampson says the goal is to remind drivers of the real human cost behind road statistics and encourage safer choices on the road.
The aim of the Hardest Share is to ultimately prevent future road trauma through the power of real storytelling. And we know that these stories are really difficult to tell, but we also know the impact they could have on others in terms of shifting their behaviour and ultimately saving lives on our roads.
Thousands have attended events as part of East Gippsland Winter Festival, including Lake Lights on Saturday evening. Founder and director of the festival, Adam Bloom, says it was one of the biggest crowds they have had at an event.
Biggest crowd we've ever had at a winter festival event, and magical. Huge lanterns and roving performers, stilt walkers, live music, plenty of food. It was a wonderful night of creativity and community there in Lakes Entrance.
The festival concludes this weekend. Head to egwinterfest.com.au. The Gippsland Primary Health Network has launched a first-of-its-kind interactive map identifying the region's most climate-vulnerable communities. CEO Amanda Paposh says it marks a major milestone in local efforts to strengthen emergency planning and climate resilience.
A geospatial interactive map that allows the teams to pinpoint where our most at-risk communities are, so people can work faster, smarter, in a more compassionate way, really identifying where really priority populations are that need probably more advanced level of preparedness and action in order for them to get a better outcome during an emergency.
Organisers of the Middle of Everywhere Gippsland Rally, set for next month, have put a call out for people to assist during the event, with a number of roles available and full training provided. Further details can be found at gippslandrarally.com.au or through their social media platforms. East Gippsland Shire councillors and senior staff will visit Mallacoota next week as part of their ongoing listening tour. Pat Gordon has the story.
East Gippsland Shire Mayor John White said Council's listening tour is an important way to stay in touch with the challenges and opportunities facing different parts of the Shire. Community members have been invited to RSVP for a community morning tea to be held at the Malakuta Community Club rooms next Tuesday. During the visit, councillors and staff will also tour local facilities and meet with representatives from community groups, local organisations and the business community. Pat Gordon, Ace Radio.
Australian Red Cross Lifeblood has officially removed most sexual activity wait times for life-saving plasma donations, safely paving the way for many gay and bisexual men, transgender people and sex workers to help save lives. Previous donor rules prevented many people from the LGBTQIA+ and sex worker communities from donating plasma if they had sex within the past 3 months. Emily Granlund, spokesperson for Lifeblood, says this will be a game changer.
From today, Lifeblood has removed sexual activity wait times for plasma donations, and these changes to our donation rules mean that most people, including gay and bisexual men, can now donate plasma without a wait period. We expect an extra 24,000 donors to make 95,000 extra donations of plasma every year as a result of these changes.
Appointments are available at the Tarralgon Centre. Contact 13 14 95. Food Organics and Garden Organics are on their way to Wellington's curbside with a new green lidded bin and kitchen caddy set to be rolled out across the Shire from midway through next year. Natalie Anderson reports.
Wellington's new FOGO service will give households a simple way to reduce the amount of waste sent to landfill by placing food scraps and garden clippings into a dedicated green lidded bin. The collected material will be processed into compost as a specially built facility at Pinegrow in Morwell, with construction expected to be completed by May next year. Mayor Scott Rossetti said Council was thrilled to be able to announce a starting date for the much requested service. Natalie Anderson, Ace Radio.
Gippsland water customers will be given the opportunity to speak face-to-face with customer care team members about their water bills at various pop-up events over the next few months. Acting Managing Director Nick Moss encouraged customers to attend a session.
We understand many of our customers are experiencing cost of living pressures, and we want them to know we're here to help. We can help set up flexible payment plans, register concessions, apply for government-funded assistance and give referrals to financial counsellors. For more information, including dates and locations, visit www.gippswater.com.au/customer care.
2 key jetties in Gippsland have been rebuilt as part of an $18 million statewide investment in piers and jetties. The McLaughlin's Beach Jetty and the Lakes Entrance Fishing Cooperative South Jetty at Bullock Island have now been completed. Eastern Victorian MP Tom McIntosh says the McLaughlin's Beach Jetty holds a special significance for the local community. With the cold weather well and truly upon us, Victoria's environmental watchdog has some handy tips for Gippsland and the Valley residents when it comes to maintenance of their wood-burning heater. EPA Victoria says the condition of the heater, the flue and the fuel being used all contribute to seeing more or less smoke from your chimney. Chief Environmental Scientist Jen Martin says there are simple steps households can do to improve air quality.
Look at using a wood heater that meets Australian standards. You can have your heater professionally installed, maintain your heater, choose the right wood to burn, always use dry, seasoned and untreated hardwood. Clean your flue, clean the baffle plate and know what not to burn. So things like coal, coke, driftwood, household rubbish, painted wood or treated timber.
Latrobe City Council has announced that it will provide funding to support community groups under the 2025-26 Community Grants Program. Natalie Anderson reports.
The Community Grant Program includes the following grant streams: Capital Works, Major and Minor, Events, Major and Minor, and Community Wellbeing. The round opened yesterday and closes on the 8th of August. Latrobe City Council Mayor Councillor Dale Harriman said Council is proud to be a driver for community initiatives, enabling individuals and organisations to make a positive impact. Natalie Anderson, Ace Radio.
Blue Float Energy has scrapped its Gippsland Dawn offshore wind project after failing to find a buyer. Sam College reports.
Despite having a feasibility licence, the project collapsed due to a lack of investor interest and waning support from US backers. Offshore wind is key to Victoria's plan to replace coal, but the sector faces rising costs, regulatory delays and infrastructure challenges. Bluefloat now hopes to progress a New South Wales project, though it faces tougher hurdles like floating turbines and local opposition. The project's failure casts doubt on Victoria's ambitious offshore wind targets, including 9 gigawatts by 2040. Sam College, Ace Radio.
This National Diabetes Week, awareness is being raised about the amount of residents across Gippsland and the Valley who may be living with undiagnosed type 2 diabetes. Justine Kane from Diabetes Australia says latest figures estimate more than 150,000 Victorians are currently living with the condition but remain undiagnosed and untreated.
We need a national diabetes prevention approach, backed by increased awareness and public education campaigns around type 2 diabetes, school-based education initiatives, and policies like better food labelling to reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes and its complications. And of course, more investment in diabetes research is absolutely critical.
A 2.8 magnitude earthquake hit near Maui around 2 p.m. yesterday with a depth of approximately 5 kilometres. Tremors were reported in both Maui and Traralgon. Dr Phil Cummins, senior seismologist at Geoscience Australia, says that while the quake was small, it was still strong enough to be felt.
If you're really close to it, you could feel it. It would be a sharp bang. Some people describe it as, maybe feels like a vehicle, sort of bumping into the building, but it will be very sharp. And then as you get farther away, maybe tens of kilometres away, it'll be a bit of a drawn out swaying motion.
Federal member for Gippsland, Darren Chester, is calling on Gippslanders to enter their best photographs, capturing the iconic essence of the region in his newly launched 2026 #LoveGippsland calendar competition. This year marks the 14th edition of the annual photography competition, with prizes available for best entries. Mr Chester is encouraging everyone to get clicking.
We are blessed right across Gippsland to have some absolutely iconic locations for our local photographers, and we have some very talented photographers right across the region as well. So my annual calendar competition is all about encouraging local photographers to get out and take photos of their iconic locations, and then we distribute 30,000 free copies across the region to promote our beautiful region. So just encouraging people to get out there and start taking great photographs.
A long-serving Gippsland livestock agent has been sentenced to jail after orchestrating an elaborate fraud scheme that saw low-quality cattle sold at inflated prices to the high-value Chinese market. Tom Hughes reports.
Lardner man Nathan Gibbon has been sentenced to 6 months in jail, followed by an 18-month community corrections order after facing the Latrobe Valley County Court. Supporters of Mr Gibbon, present in the courtroom, were seen wiping away tears as the sentence was delivered. The 50-year-old had earlier pleaded guilty to obtaining financial advantage by deception, along with a separate charge of handling stolen goods after police found a stolen $78,000 excavator on his property. Tom Hughes, Ace Radio.
Gippsland Vehicle Collection in Maffra is in urgent need of state government support to replace the roof over the complex, which threatens its operations. National's Gippsland East MP Tim Bull, who's a regular visitor to the site, is calling on Minister Steve Demopoulos to come up with the remainder of the cash.
They need a new roof on the complex. It is in a state of disrepair and urgently needs to be upgraded. Now, this volunteer committee, has already raised $400,000 towards the total cost of $1.2 million. We are now calling on the Minister to stump up the remainder, stump up the balance, and make sure that this great facility exists long into the future.
Latrobe City Council is inviting community members and local businesses to have their say at a series of Latrobe Listens customer insight sessions. Tom Hughes reports.
Council are holding a number of sessions to capture real experiences, ideas and feedback to inform the development of Council's next customer experience and community engagement strategies. A local business session will be taking place this morning from 10 at Gippsland Performing Arts Centre. Sessions will be held next Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Further details can be found by visiting the Council's website. Tom Hughes, Ace Radio.
Police are appealing for witnesses or information following a spate of graffiti damage that's allegedly occurred throughout public toilets in the Lakes entrance area. According to police, the graffiti has caused significant damage to public property and are urging anyone who may have witnessed suspicious behaviour to report it. East Gippsland Shire Council is working to stay on top of the graffiti. However, due to damage being caused to the toilet infrastructure, some toilets may be closed for repairs. If you or anyone you know has information, best to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. Parks Victoria are pleading with those heading to Mount St Guinea to take their rubbish home and also not take part in a social media trend. Pat Gordon has the story.
The organisation is urging people attending not to bring food dye to throw on the snow as it becomes unsightly and environmentally damaging. They've also encouraged visitors to take their rubbish home. They say keeping the area clean helps protect native wildlife and ensures everyone can enjoy the natural beauty of the alpine environment. Parks Victoria are pleading with anyone who sees people littering or dropping food dye to report it to the rangers on the mountain or by calling 13 1963. Pat Gordon, Ace Radio.
The Bairnsdale Show will not be holding a general show this year following a recent committee meeting, with the Show Society saying on Facebook that it wasn't an easy decision. There will be a horse event on Saturday the 8th of November, extending an invitation to all equestrian participants and spectators to be part of the program. The committee will turn its attention to planning a bigger and better Bairnsdale Show in 2026, thanking the community, volunteers, exhibitors and supporters for their ongoing encouragement and understanding. Tracy Lund, the wife of the late Simon Lund, is continuing the fight for change to Victoria's presumptive legislation. Simon passed away in May after battling esophageal cancer. Tracy is urging locals to sign an online petition.
There is a petition, a parliamentary petition, and we're aiming to get 10,000 signatures. It isn't the only thing that we're doing. We really are wanting to present the case and, raise awareness around the gaps in the legislation and the urgent need for it to change. We know that frontline staff are often exposed to carcinogens through their work when they step up for our community, when they, go to these campaigns when our state needs them the most.
Nationals member for Gippsland South, Danny O'Brien, says he'll oppose a new bill that would give the Victorian government more power to enter private land. The Vic Grid Stage 2 reform bill would let officials remove locks and enter properties without the owner's consent to carry out electricity transmission works. Mr O'Brien says that's just not acceptable.
Now it's trying to make regional Victorians pay for that by bringing in these draconian laws that will result in fines and give power to other authorities to come onto farmers' land. That's not acceptable. We already have laws for this sort of thing with compulsory acquisition. The government is clearly out of its depth if it thinks it needs to bring in these draconian sorts of laws to impact on regional Victorians further.
East Gippsland Shire Council are calling on locals to help shape the design of a new indoor stadium for Lakes entrance. Council are urging those in the community who are passionate about sport, community spaces or simply want to have a say, they're invited to send an expressions of interest to join the project reference group. Mayor Councillor John White encouraged community members with a passion for community infrastructure and inclusive spaces to put their hand up. Further details can be found at the Shire's website. The Nationals member for Morwell, Martin Cameron, has called out the Victorian government for its ongoing neglect of CFA volunteers as repeated concerns and calls for upgrades continue to be ignored. Jade Egan reports.
Mr Cameron says the Hazelwood North CFA Brigade has spent years calling for much-needed upgrades to its station, only to be ignored time and time again. He says the current facility is little more than a single roller door shed, with the only meeting room built by brigade members themselves. This year's state budget allocates just $13.5 million for regional CFA station upgrades. Jade Egan, Ace Radio.
Lakes Entrance Surf Lifesaving Club's Kenneth Woodward has been awarded a national medal for 15 years of service from Lifesaving Victoria. The national medal is awarded to those who risk their lives to protect or assist the community in enforcement of law or in times of emergency or natural disaster. Recipients must have served a minimum of 30 patrol hours per year over 15 years to be eligible for the medal. LSV CEO Kath Greaves says volunteer lifesavers make an incredible contribution to the movement and community. A local marketing consultant has been named as a finalist at the 2025 Australian Entrepreneur Awards, along with a nomination at the Australian Marketing Institute. Kirsten Hams from Stradbroke explains the two nominations.
For one of them, the AMI Awards, I had to submit a submission about the campaign that I run for social media marketing. So the AMI Award was just about social media marketing, a particular campaign with a particular business in mind. And the Australian Mumpreneur Awards was about the impact that I make in regional Victoria.
The Nationals member for Gippsland South, Danny O'Brien, has congratulated Animal Aid on its successful application for funding. Emma Roberts reports.
The Animal Welfare Fund Grants Program supports not-for-profit organisations that deliver animal welfare services and improvements for companion animals. Mr O'Brien said Animal Aid will receive just over $42,000 in funding, which will be used to construct additional outdoor runs and renovate existing runs for dogs at its Fulham site. Emma Roberts, Ace Radio.
Gippsland and the Valley residents are being urged to protect themselves and their loved ones against flu, COVID-19 and RSV, as the region is experiencing a surge in case numbers this season. According to data from the Gippsland Region Public Health Unit, there has been a sharp spike in numbers in the past 2 months. GRPHU Director Dr Alice Wilson is calling on everyone to get vaccinated.
So the best thing that people can do to protect themselves against these respiratory viruses is to get vaccinated. We have effective vaccines which are free for many people against these viruses, and the best thing you can do is speak to your GP to find out which ones that you're eligible for and to get vaccinated.
Omeo Police recently detected an unregistered white Triton, which was following another vehicle around the Great Alpine Road in the Kosciuszko lookout. Police intercepted the unregistered vehicle. The 43-year-old male driver from Lakes Entrance provided police with a valid unregistered permit, however not a valid name, and gave his twin brother's name. Following a short investigation, it was revealed the driver didn't hold a valid driver's licence and also had a warrant for his arrest. Police checked the second vehicle, a silver Mazda, although it was registered, discovered that the driver, a 43-year-old female also from Lakes Entrance, had her licence disqualified and also failing a roadside drug test. Both vehicles were impounded for a period of 30 days at a cost of $1,875 each. The Victorian Fisheries Authority is celebrating the recovery of the Gippsland Lakes fishery, with black bream, King George whiting and dusky flathead thriving since the end of commercial netting. CEO Travis Dowling says it's a big win for local recreational fishers.
So we do a survey each year to just see how they're going and what the numbers are looking like. So we like to monitor and make sure that we've got a really good fishery for the future and our bag limits and size limits are working. So we had really strong sporting years in 2017, 18 and 19, and we knew that we could predict the numbers of black bream now reaching the slot in the Gippsland Lake. So it's a great sign for the recovery of the lakes.
New data release shows that many high schools are struggling to get staff, with teachers shunning regional campuses for inner city positions. Emma Clark reports.
According to the Herald Sun, there are over 1,000 positions available, with many being repeatedly advertised without any applicants. Kenai College has 8 positions available. Education Opposition spokeswoman Jess Wilson said with more than 1,100 teacher vacancies across the state, Labor's failure to support staff in the classroom has resulted in a teacher shortage crisis. Emma Clark, Ace Radio.
Round 13 of Mid Gippsland football results. Foster were too strong for MDU, winning by 81 points. Jake Best booted 9. Fish Creek had a comfortable 27-point victory over Tarwin at home. Newborough defeated Morwell East by 13 points, with Peter Ainsworth and Brody Young kicking 4. Hillend had their first win of the season, defeating Stony Creek, with Darcy Paul kicking 5. Melbourne North defeated Thorpedale, and Tura defeated Ballara, with Lee Craig kicking 5. Round 13 of North Gippsland football results. Woodside 18-7-115 defeated Rosedale 7-8-50. Zach Richards and Brony Stainer kicking 4 each. Yarram 28-128 over Glengarry 5-10-40. Joshua Swift with 5. Cower 14-12-96 defeated Churchill 5-16-46. Keegan Hughes booting 6. Hayfield 13-8-86 defeated Sales City 7-8-50. Kyle Graham with 4. Yallourn North 24-20 164 were big winners against Gormandale 5-3-33. Lochla Rees with 7. The 2025 Latrobe City Traralgon Open and Junior Tennis event has been labelled a success after 157 players took part over the 4 days. In swimming, the Victorian Masters Long Distance Championships were held, with Andrew Crozier breaking the Australian age 35 to 39 year record in the 800 metres butterfly and the Victorian records in both the 400 and 800. Shannon Lorimer, who also competed in the event, broke the Victorian record in the 40 to 44 year age group. And Rosedale Speedway Association has released the 2025-26 calendar, getting underway on Saturday, October 25th with unlimited sedans, mini and lightning sprints, Divi 2 hot rods, junior and open standard saloons, and the season concludes on Saturday, May 16. Gippslander Anthony Bloomfield has been named to be part of Cricket Australia's Masters Australia A over 50 side, all part of the 2025 Spirit of Cricket Global Festival, which will see the side take on Australia, the United States and Canada. The event will be held in Mildura from the 15th to the 24th of September. Former Morwell and Gippsland Power footballer, now Gold Coast son Ben Ainsworth, will celebrate his 150th game when they take on Adelaide in Adelaide on Sunday afternoon. Ben made his debut in 2017 and was taken pick 4 in the 2016 National Draft. And Sale Tennis Club hosted the 2025 Sale Sporting Legends 05K J125 over the weekend, with organisers saying they had 145 entries to the tournament from 116 in 2024 and 79 in 2023. Round 14 of North Gippsland football on Saturday afternoon. Yallourn North are taking on Hayfield at George Bates Reserve. Sale City versus Cower at Stevenson Park. Yarram play host against Woodside at Yarram Recreation Reserve. And Rosedale versus TTU at Rosedale Recreation Reserve, with seniors getting underway from 2:15. Traralgon Tennis Association is set to host the Frank Sedgman Cup, with aspiring 11 and under players from across the state will be competing in a mixed teams event over the weekend. The event will see over 60 athletes across 7 metropolitan associations and 7 country regions make their way to Gippsland. An action-packed afternoon of soccer as round 16 of Latrobe Valley Soccer League men's competition takes place on Sunday afternoon. Traralgon City versus Sale United, Monash Soccer Club take on Traralgon Olympians. Churchill United versus Mel United and Newbury Yallourn United are at home against East Gippsland, with kick-off for all matches at 3. While in the women's matches getting underway from 11 on Sunday, Traralgon City versus Sale United, Churchill United versus Mel United, Monash Soccer Club versus Traralgon Olympians, and Newbury Yallourn United versus Tyres SC. Gippsland Football and Netball League returns tomorrow following a bye last weekend, and it is Indigenous round. Bensdale versus Warrigal, Sale play host to Druin. Top spot is on the line where Moe take on Leongatha. Wonthaggi are at home against Morwell, and Traralgon versus Maffra, with all senior games commencing from 2:20. Gippsland boxer Max Reeves will be defending the Australian Super Middleweight Championship tomorrow night in Melbourne. Coach Paul Carroll says his opponent has an impressive record.
He's got a good competition, Abdul Abdularum from Sydney. He's a southpaw opponent, so he's got a really good record as well, with 15 fights, 14 wins, 11 knockouts. So got to make sure that we're on our game early and set it up defensively early, and then just build into it as it goes.
It's a massive triple header at Gippsland Regional Indoor Sports Stadium tomorrow when our Gippsland United basketballers take to the court. The day gets underway from 3 in the Youth League, where United take on Bellarine Storm. Then from 5, it's Division 2 women taking on Coburg, before it's second versus first when United men take on Coburg, with tip-off set for 7. And that's the latest in local news and sport.
Unleash your vehicle's power beyond limits. Discover our exclusive range of Yuasa automotive batteries, engineered for unparalleled reliability and performance to power your journey like never before. Battery World, power your passion.